Hi, everybody, and welcome to Tiliko Vima English. Of course, my name is Jonathan, and I'm here with one of our followers on Hello Talk, Dua. And hi, thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Jonathan. I'm so happy
Hi-
that I joined this session with you.
Absolutely. I'm glad you agreed to it because this is a way we can not only have our time one on one, but most of the time, Dua, things happen here in this time when we're together discussing things that can actually help other people, and it will give you a source to reference after we're done. So, kind of cool, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Now, do you want to introduce yourself and give a little bit, whatever you feel comfortable with, as far as introducing yourself, so the listeners will know whatever you want them to know.
Okay, I'm Dwaya from Egypt. I didn't work after graduation, but I found my passion in cake decorating, so I work as a cake decorator. I like this field so much, and I think I'm successful cake decorator. And I want to enhance my speaking. Actually, I learned English and I can write well, read well, and I understand everything that I listen to. But I need to enhance my speaking. So I tried many times to do something like that. So when I joined Hello Talk, for example, I attended many voice rooms, but you know, I didn't at all, or I've never tried to join any of these voice rooms, or even try to just raise my hand to join these voice rooms. Until today, uh, I found this encouragement to raise my hand. It was through your session or your live stream, and actually I can't believe how did I do that, because it's the first time to do that, because maybe I feel this comfort to talk with you and my colleagues, or those people who attended this live stream. I felt like it's a camaraderie, or I felt there is something like something friendly, or something comfortable, So
Hmm.
uh, actually, you encourage me to do something like that. As I mentioned, it's the first time to have this full encouragement to raise my hand to attend such a voice room. So I have to thank you so much, and I really appreciate it, because you gave me this comfort to do something. Maybe it's strange for me to do that. It's first time actually. So thank you so much, and appreciate everything you do for us. I know that you try to help people to learn English or to speak comfortably, and this is the first time to uh, to try something like that. And as I mentioned earlier, I felt this comfort to start with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that information about yourself and your new experience today. And that's the goal with Taliko Vima English, is to give an atmosphere where people don't feel judged. And, everything is, there's no hidden agenda. We're not trying to sell you something. It really is a place for people to learn and to share and to grow. So that's what we're doing. And I've always wanted to capture things here on Riverside. I've done it a few times, and it's going to give us great quality audio, and then we'll be able to mix this and put something together for the visual part. But you want to talk a little deeper in subjects and have a deeper conversation, and you've chosen one of our videos to go by. And what made you choose the video "Misjudging Others"? It's kind of plain. I mean, it's kind of like this. It's audio, it's subtitles, but there's not very much visual. Was it the podcast type of feel that it had, or was it the content, or a little bit of both?
Uh, Maybe I'm kind of person who never ever judge others. So I was curious to, to to learn more about this topic from your point of view, because I know that we have to discuss a specific topic. So I chose this topic to to learn more about. So I think it was very useful for me. Of course, you know what caught my attention while I'm watching this video? It's
What's that?
Yeah, when you said that it's about when you mentioned the part of using emojis, because I have the same problem. Sometimes I choose some emojis to use, and then one of my daughters from Gen Z tells me that no, it's not the right emoji to use. And when you specifically you mentioned that flash the chicks emojis, I know
Mm-hmm.
what you mean by that. So this part caught my attention because it's something happened to me, and
Oh, you
yeah.
could relate to it. Yeah, you could relate to it.
uh,
Okay. And that, go ahead, please.
okay, yeah, and that's I want to say that it's something you said that using emojis can't convey our real emotions, and that's real. It's fact. I know that because it reminds me of a situation that happened to me. Uh, One day, one of my daughters, sent me a message, and she used this emoji, which is a smiling one or laughing one. And when she returned back home, I found that she is sad. And I told her that you send me that emojis and you send me this message that I felt like you are happy. Then she told me that no, using emojis doesn't mean that I'm exactly like this state that I use. Sometimes we are sad, but we just communicate with people via WhatsApp or something like that, and use
Mm-hmm.
these emojis just for conversation or to just to say that we are good, but we are not.
Right. And so communication has gotten so diluted by quick texts or emojis, and there's a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication because the attempt is to abbreviate communication, and that gives a lot of chance of misunderstanding between generations or just each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you speak a language and you're learning another language, and that also presents opportunities where there can be misunderstandings often, and we can misjudge the situation or the person.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's really,
Yeah,
it's a good subject.
yeah, you are right. And the other part that you mentioned that sometimes we, uh, when we find some situation about someone or we heard something about someone that we hate or we don't like, uh, here we can believe that what we hear or what we read about or something like that, we can believe that immediately because we don't like this person. And I can't remember what you said. It's like coherent or cognition. I think it's cognition, uh, interpretation or interpretation. I think in the video you said something like that. So yeah, we can relate our emotion or our attitude toward that person and what we heard about them. And we can believe that although it may be not exactly like we heard about them. I don't know if you got what I mean or not. When we don't like someone, and then we heard something bad or negative about this person, so
Mm-hmm.
we immediately believe what we heard, although it may be wrong, but we believe
Mm-hmm.
that because
Mm-hmm.
we don't like them, because it's something negative about them.
Right. We already have a filter on, so whatever we hear is gonna go through that filter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
yeah, it's gonna validate the way we feel, even if it's not accurate information. Yeah, and that's a common thing. People cling to material that will feed what they feel, and will reject material that goes against what they feel.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it is because we've been given place to feelings and encouraging people to pursue feelings. Have you heard the expression, well, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, we are human,
That's not true.
we are not angels,
It's not
we
true.
are human.
And when we get older, we realize that we should not chase after things that make us happy, and we should not run away from things that make us feel uncomfortable, because depending on the context, things that make you happy can be dangerous
Yeah, yeah,
and make you blinded. And yeah, and things that make you uncomfortable can be very useful.
yeah, we have to be wise about everything that we are gonna do.
Absolutely. And that's why when we're talking about this subject of misjudging others, it is important, like you said, to think about, did this just go through a filter because that's the way I felt about them? Or maybe even, guys, maybe the people look like someone familiar, or it's a familiar situation. Like you could say, I never trust teachers, they've always done me wrong.
Mm.
So someone comes up and says they're a teacher, and you go, uh-huh, watch, this could be another one, right? You already have a preconceived notion
Yeah,
about them. And when you misjudge, like you said, you can start to look for things and think you see things that aren't there. So it's really important not to judge. Now, there's an expression that's often used against us as Christians, and it
yeah,
says, "Hey, judge not." Bible says, "Don't judge."
yeah. Or
and
don't judge
and
the book from its cover, I think.
that's an expression, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
But in the context of the biblical application, they say don't judge.
Mm.
They mean don't condemn people. Like don't create a fixed, immovable position on them. And the Bible tells us to judge things as far as using discernment, right? Don't be foolish,
Yeah.
but don't jump to conclusions and make it a final thing. So when we have a misjudging of someone,
Mm.
we have to consider. We have to consider, did I jump to a conclusion? Do I have a fixed position? Am I being unfair?
Yeah.
Because maybe they had a bad day, or maybe they said the wrong thing, and now I think they're this kind of person, and they're not.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And sometimes we perceive ourselves, like higher or superior than a specific people. Maybe they are, maybe they are better than us. So we have to know them well. And as you mentioned now in Bible, or I think in all religious books, or in all religions, I know that uh, uh, they all agreed on never judge anyone without knowing them. Maybe they are better than you. So we have to take care about everything. We have to pay attention to our words, to our behavior towards others. And maybe what we do today, it will return to us after that. So we have to pay attention to everything that we do towards others.
Absolutely. It's a good advice to always give someone another chance, to see if you did misjudge them. Because there are first impressions, there are stereotypes. You could have incomplete information. And so rather than just taking the time to understand a person's true character and intentions and circumstances, we could jump to conclusions. So you want to be very aware that all of us have this tendency to embrace a first impression and say, "Oh, I just know people." No,
Yeah,
you don't. You don't know everyone.
of course.
You don't know their circumstance. You don't know their intentions. You don't know a lot of things. So it's really important to set an environment where you can get to know them, give them another chance, just like you would want if you got off on the wrong foot, as they would say.
Yeah,
You would want another chance to recover from that.
yeah, of
Um,
course.
but as you were watching the video, and I will link it here, guys. Those of you who are listening, you'll see it pop up a few times for you guys to watch the video that was inspiring to Dua to want to have a deeper conversation about it. What stood out to you about that? Besides the emojis and jumping to conclusions, you could relate to that. Was there anything else as you listened to it that really made you think?
I think the whole video is concise and precise. It's a short video, but it has many things that we can think about from the very beginning to until the end. I think it's something that we have to think about. As you mentioned, that we don't have judge people from the first impression, for example, because maybe they are in a bad mood that day. Maybe they have specific circumstances. So we have to appreciate everything. We have to give them another chance to learn more about them, not judge them just because of the first situation that you saw them in. No, you have to take your time to judge people. But to be honest, I don't like to use this word judge people because, as I mentioned earlier, I've never ever judged anyone. Maybe I have my time to know them, but I have ever never judged them because everyone has their own circumstances, their own personality. So we don't have to judge each other, actually.
Yeah, and it's about you know discernment about someone. Those of you listening to this recording with us, we didn't choose to have an audience today, so you're it. We don't have a chance to interact with you, but I imagine some of you are thinking about these distinctions. And like we said, judgment in one sense is jumping to a firm conclusion. Judgment in another sense is using your all of those things like your history, your experience, your senses, allowing it all to have an adequate amount of time before you discern the situation or the motivation or the person. That's more appropriate. If we jump to a conclusion based on a cognitive bias, which is what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
that's our brain's tendency to take shortcuts when processing information. It's called cognitive bias.
yeah,
And for example, it could lead you to interpret new information in a way that supports your existing beliefs, like you were talking about, Dua.
yeah. That's
And
exactly what I meant. Cognitive bias. Yeah,
mm-hmm. And so emotional influence can also play a factor. If we're in a bad mood, we might see things through a different filter. So having people you trust, family and friends, and people who know the real you, they know your character and personality, having them to bounce things off of can be very useful so that you can regain, calibration, if you will, in case you're off. If you're having an emotional day, and you can ask your friend and say, "Hey, Tony, do you notice this about this person? And do you notice this about that? And do you notice this?" And they could say, uh, "Jonathan, I think you're just kind of in a funky mood, man. What's going on?" Because all of these people are rubbing you a certain way. And so it's good to have someone who you can trust to give you feedback and say, "No, it's just like you're thinking. Yeah, that's the vibe I get off of that person." Or they could say, no, man, not at all. I actually think they're a good guy and they don't have any agenda. And I think you got it wrong this time. So we want to be careful of not only the misjudging of others, but we also want to welcome the solution, which is to have friends or family or someone to get a second or third opinion on, or just to know that I get moody sometimes and like, no, wait a minute, I was hungry, I was tired,
Yeah,
I probably was just grouchy.
I like
Go ahead, please.
I like this this thing. I like how you you know said this point, because it's not only about misjudging others. When we met them in person, no, if someone asks us about someone else, yeah, we can say that maybe there is circumstances that they are going through or something like that. So we have to avoid misjudging, even if we don't be in this situation ourselves. If someone asks us about someone else, as you mentioned, I like how you say this thing.
Well, I've had a lot of experiences where I've jumped to conclusions, and instead now I'm more of a de-escalator. I realize if emotions are involved, it can escalate and put that filter on, like we talked about, where you become biased. And one example is I had a customer one time that when I worked at a company, I was a supervisor, and the customer was being very irritable with several staff members. And finally, they came to me and said, Jonathan, could you please help over here? This lady is really, a handful. She's tearing us all up. So when I went over to her, we had sold doors, outside doors, inside doors, and she needed an outside door. She said, I just bought one and I got it. The installer's right here with me. He installed it. There's something wrong with the door. I can't believe it. Now I'm waiting here 20 minutes to get the other door because I need to get this done. She was really very aggressive. And as I talk softly, I'm so sorry you're having this experience. I just need to go get the equipment to get the door down. I'll be back in 2 minutes and we'll give you a discount. I'm so sorry. Got the door down. It was the last one. Brought it with her to the counter. As we're walking and I stayed calm, she started to share something to her. She said, I'm sorry. She goes, look, my dad just died last week, and this is the last thing we need to do to his home so I can rent it out. And I just want to be done with it. And she was crying.
Yeah.
So we went from someone who was very aggressive and assertive and, determined to make everyone have a bad day. And when you learn the background, she just needed to get this grieving process going in another direction. She wanted the house rented and out of her hands so she didn't have to think about it. So it's rarely what we think. Everyone's going through different things. Everyone's having different kinds of days. Some people have different triggers. So that point on, I thought whenever I see an aggressive customer or someone who's elevating, escalating things, I have no idea. I have no idea what they could be going through. No idea. So it's important to just take time, let emotions settle, and try to figure it out. If you did jump to a conclusion or misjudge someone, give them a chance. After things settle, give them a chance to make up, and you might find that it was just a misunderstanding, right?
Right, but that happened because maybe you are wise enough to to deal wisely with situations. But if it comes to younger people, I think they might not deal with such situations like you did, right?
It could happen, but we're hopeful.
Yeah.
Well, because they don't know, so we need to train up our younger generation through recordings like this. Actually, Dua, if we put it out there and create some engaging backdrop, then people will understand that it can have serious consequences. It can put distance between you and other people. If not you, I know myself and other people have misjudged a person or drawn a conclusion, And it put real distance between us because I felt so offended and so done wrong that I decided, no, I'm not ever going to deal with that person again. I'm just going to do what I have to do with them, like maybe at work. I'm just going to get distance. And then a week or two or a month or two later, you find yourself talking with them, and they're like, "Hey, why didn't you talk to me for so long, man? It just seemed like," and you bring up the situation, and it turns out that they never even saw the situation that way. They
Yeah,
they might have said something innocently, or they looked at you a certain way, or something happened, or someone said something about them that you believed, and you've spent 2 months or sometimes longer, and you didn't reconnect or clarify or give them another chance. And so for 2 months, you're trying to stay angry every time you see them.
yeah,
You're trying to remember how they did you wrong,
yeah,
and it turns out they didn't even know. They didn't even know they had done anything wrong.
yeah.
So yeah,
We have
it's you got to
to
be
be
careful.
patient. We have to put ourselves in others' shoes and to be empathetic. I think we have to do that, or we need to find people who uh, you know, to be empathetic with others. We need to find those people, and maybe this record or this audio now. Uh, it's not maybe, I'm sure that it can benefit someone who listen to us, and because now you convey your experience in life, and they maybe they face some situations like you told us now, and they can know how they can deal with such situations. So of course, I'm sure that you what you are did now, what you are doing now from this audio or your live streams or something like that, I'm sure that it benefits people who are attending them or listening to them, to, as I mentioned, to say about something about your experience in life, to make them follow such advice that you mentioned in these live streams or in these sessions, or uh, really I want to appreciate all what you did actually, and what you are doing now.
Well, again, I thank you. I thank you for that. If we all listen to what Dua and I are talking about, is it's very important. These are the building blocks for prejudice and discrimination are misjudging others or jumping to conclusions. And if you look here in the United States, you'll see a lot of evidence of that. And if you know that that's what you're building by choosing to misjudge others or choosing to hold a firm position without giving others a chance, you could limit your progress in a company. You could limit you could undervalue someone's skills and ability to help you, like at work. You could disconnect from a relative without any real substance, just disconnect and lose all of that, in heritage or perspective or family community. So it's not a good idea to misjudge others. And some of you might be prideful. I remember Dua saying in the beginning that it's important to be humble and to not allow pride to lift you up, because you could be prideful and say, "No, I just know people. You can't tell me any different. This is how he is. That's how she is. I could see it from across the room." Those kinds of things make you sound qualified, but you're actually just, using gossip and using tearing down people's character, and you're creating tension and hostility in your workplace, and you're limiting the people who are in your life that are probably there to help. So it is really important to regroup and take a deep breath if you feel you've been done wrong, and take the time to talk to someone. There's probably one of our podcasts. I don't think it's one of our YouTube videos yet, but there's a podcast that we have in this same way, is when you feel someone has done you wrong and you don't take time to talk with them about it, and time goes on, and then maybe you've done them wrong and you've kept distance, and then finally you go up to them and you say, you know what, man, I need to talk to you, and you pull them aside and you talk to I'll just say Joe, and say, Joe, look, man, last week, I need to ask you to forgive me for last week. You were talking to me and I said something to you, and you don't deserve to be talked to like that. And I appreciate that we can work together. And you might be in the middle of this whole speech, and Joe will go, I'm sorry, bro. What are you talking about? You're like, last week, remember when you said this and I said that? And then you said this and I walked away?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I just thought you had to go somewhere else. No, man, I was upset. I couldn't believe you said that. And then as you talk it out, Joe's like, look, man, I didn't mean it like that. And you're like, oh, well, I thought you, oh, and then you both start laughing because the whole time you had this idea of what actually happened, and it didn't happen at all. It didn't happen from Joe. Joe didn't receive your attitude when you had it. It was all neutralized somehow. And you've kept this distance and had this discomfort. Some people hold on to that. And so we are not the best judge of character. People do change. You've got to give them a chance to adjust. And the best way to give them a chance to adjust is either come and ask forgiveness if you feel you've done something wrong against them. Don't say, I apologize. Apologia means to explain something. And if you explain something, it means you're not taking responsibility for it. So the first thing you should do is own it and say, look, I want you to forgive me. I want to ask you to forgive me. Give them the power to choose to forgive you. And that shows humility. That shows submission. That shows yielding and respecting that person. Most of the time, you will find their next thing they say is very neutralizing. They had no idea. Of course, no need to ask forgiveness. No, you're okay. No, we're fine.
Yeah. It's
Have you ever
it's
had those
strength.
situations, Dua?
Yeah, if you say something like that, it's a strength. I feel like, the longer time you have to, to communicate with someone about something that happened between you, the larger distance will be happen between you. Yeah, you see. So we have to recover everything immediately. If someone, or if there is any situation or negative situation happened between you and someone else, we have to, to say everything about this situation before, before it becomes, something stronger. You cannot fix it after that. So, and the first one who starts talking about this situation, I think he is the stronger one. The stronger one
Mm.
can start talking about what happened, and the other's duty is to forgive him, even as you mentioned, without saying sorry or I apologize for something. No, it's enough to say, to talk about what happened, and to, if you are, if you did something wrong, you can encouragingly say that uh, just forgive me without I'm sorry. And I think if the other one is strong enough, he will forgive you. And it depends on your relationship. If you are a friend, and you are truly friend, I think you will forgive each other.
There you go. That's really good. And what we mean by forgiveness, guys, that's important because some people are like, I can forgive, but I can't forget. And they're different. That's why. So forgiveness means to make a decision to not hold something against someone. It might still hurt. What they did might still hurt. But you're going to be like, do I saying the bigger person, the stronger person, and you're going to choose to not hold it against them. Don't keep a list. Don't bring it up later. You're going to make that decision that eventually will be followed by actions, and eventually you'll heal if they hurt you. But you're going to make the bigger decision and say, you know what? I'm not going to hold this against you. I'm going to choose to not bring it up again. Those are the kind of things we're talking about with forgiveness. So when you're asking someone to forgive you, it doesn't mean just act like it never happened. It means, would you choose to not hold this against me? And it's giving them the power. It's showing humility yourself. So you'd be surprised, guys. You'd be surprised how much people want to restore and how much people want to reconcile. It just needs to be done the right way. And the meek approach, MEEK, it sounds like weak, WEAK, but it's opposite. It's a very strong position. Meekness means you have the power to do something and you're choosing not to do it. Like someone who's a martial artist and they get slighted by somebody and instead they talk their way out of the situation or they turn around and walk away. They could have performed things on this person to get them to submit, but they chose to refrain and restrain that ability. It could be a verbal, you could be very good at talking. Someone says something insulting, and you could choose to use your tongue to speak horrible things about them and their family or what have you, and instead you are meek and you refrain and you disengage. So
Yeah, that's why
humility,
you will be the strongest, because
yeah,
it's your decision and you made it with your sheer will. So you are strong to choose to make this decision.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, to avoid misjudging others, it helps to practice empathy, which means the desire or the ability to relate to others, to feel their position. Ask questions before forming conclusions and be open to changing our perceptions. So, you take the time to listen and observe without rushing to judgment so you don't misjudge, can lead to better relationships and a more understanding perspective on the world. Imagine that. So, and I would expect that with my friends and my family. If I said something that offended them and say, what do you mean by that, Jonathan? Were you trying to point this out? Were you trying to say that? No, 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 no. No, I didn't mean that at all. What I meant was this and this and this. Oh, okay, because I thought you were. No, of course not. So right away, you diffuse the potential situation. And that's why we promote communication with people learning English, not just talking English, but I want you to communicate and connect with people and not just talk at them.
Yes,
And that's what we're, yeah, it's a powerful thing. Like you said, it's a strength position. It's not a weak position. Humility, the way up is down, guys. The way up is down. The way to lead is to be a servant, is to serve and support the people around you, and you'll find them following you
yeah.
because they feel cared for and protected. The way up is down, husbands, is support and honor and respect your wives, and they will want to honor you. They will want to lift you up and take care of you. It's a normal human thing. When we are respected and appreciated and cared for, we want to reciprocate. And when we're judged and treated harshly, we also want to reciprocate. But refrain, because you could be misjudging, and get more information, ask questions, and you'll find most of the time it's not what you thought. You were just letting your emotions lead you, and that's almost never a good idea.
And as we mentioned, all things that you do will return back to you. So you have to see what you want to receive.
Yeah, they say be the friend that you want to have, right? Um, Treat other people as you would want to be treated.
Yeah,
All these phrases stem from that same thing. And you'll find that if you treat people the way you want to be treated until you get to know them, and then you should treat them the way they want to be treated, right? The way they ask you.
yeah,
So these are relationship dynamics, and that's what most of our podcasts are on Spotify and iTunes and all that. I haven't contributed to those channels in a while, but we're mostly here on YouTube. But it's worth looking into, guys. You're going to have to relate to people your whole life. I suggest you study about how to relate to other people. It's called relationships.
yeah.
And that's very rarely talked in about intimate. It's a part of intimate relationships, but how we relate and connect to each other is huge. It determines what kind of work environment you're going to have, what kind of life experience you're going to have. It's very, very big.
Yeah, of course. And as you mentioned, that it's learning English. It's not about yeah, speaking language or knowing something about language. No, it's about learning, as you mentioned. So now, like I'm practicing now to speak English, but while I'm talking with you, I have many lessons from you. So I learn many things. It's not about language itself, but it's about lessons of life, like this situation that you told me about, your uh, this one who told me about, and how you dealt with this situation, or talking about this topic about misjudging, or how can we forgive others, to think, when you forgive others, we get rid of things, that heavy thing that we carry on our in our heart, or something like that. So everything here, I think it's um lessons of life, not only learning language, but learning uh, many things about life. So I appreciate it so much, actually.
It's nice having you too, and I'm glad you allowed me to capture this here. Our voice does a lot to enhance, what people are hearing on the other side of this. The video does good too when people are comfortable with it. This would just have our video up on both sides as we talk to each other. We could see each other, but everything we do, if we're doing it for the right reasons, can enhance other people. And many of these conversations go unheard again because they're very organic. Like on Hello Talk, they don't record it. I mean, at least we don't have access to the recordings. And here we can on Riverside, we can. And so I'm really grateful that you offered to talk about this. And it's not the first, it's not the last time. Anytime you want to go a little deeper with one of our videos or a topic, I absolutely welcome you to do this again at whatever level you feel convenient with as far as audio and video, and maybe we can help someone else through our conversation.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I felt. That we benefit others, not only me that benefit from this speaking with you. No, I think we benefit others with this speech. So that's why I say I appreciate it, and I mean the word. I appreciate it. Really, thank you so much, Adran.
You're welcome. Well, I'll do a little outro now, and for those of you who are been listening to us, expect more of these kind of series. I have people that want to speak, practice English. I want to practice with them, but I make them do a trade with me that we can record it and try to capture the amazing thing that happens in our communities. Often it doesn't get captured, and that's where we can discuss a topic. Of course, Doa is able to express more of her English and realize it and reinforce it. And the topic, like you said, the topic is very important to our life experience or our life lessons. Very, very good. We thank you guys for joining us. After we stop recording, Doe and I will talk for a little bit. But right now, we thank you guys who tuned in. Of course, I'll put the link to the other video I have with more of the information and the actual slides, where this information is on a PowerPoint slide series. And we'll enhance this one a little bit to give you better experience. But we invite you to like and share and subscribe and comment, not to please the algorithm alone, but because we are a community. We come together in unity. Our goal is to help one another for free. I think the only thing standing between you and your English learning goals should be how hard you work. You should have access to everything. And if I'm part of that access, then that's what I'm trying to do, is be a part of that access for you. So go ahead and do all those things if you enjoy the videos. And remember, I'm reachable. So if you watch the videos, maybe you can relate because you know me as a person and not as a personality. Doa, I thank you again for letting me record this time together.
Thank you so much for everything, Jonathan.